Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Hello and welcome to Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert. Thanks for joining me. With March Madness in the rearview mirror, the spirit of an elimination-style tournament is still alive in the border city. In this week's Beyond the Classroom, we see students in Lloydminster compete in a French-themed music competition.
St. Joseph Elementary grade 6 and 7 students gathered in their gym, learning more about the French language through songs, something the teachers feel is a more impactful way of teaching.
Today we have Mani Musicale. It's a French music competition. It happens alongside March Madness, so Mani being madness, and it's a tournament-style music voting in and out of French artists. So all different French artists, all different countries, some from Canada, France, but then you also got Luxembourg, we've got Côte d'Ivoire, so the Ivory Coast, and they compete against each other.
Spanning over 35 different countries, the event gets the students engaged during French class and more interested in the language.
This was 100 times funner than regular French because you got to vote on songs and you got to do cool projects of it, and it was actually one of my favorite things, probably.
Mani Musicale is something St. Joseph Elementary is wanting to continue hosting in the future.
Kids love music, obviously. It's one of those things, and it gets them into lyrics, so we get to have discussions about opinions, which is something we want them to be able to have discussions with people about their lives and stuff, so it's been opened up. Some of the songs this year were about just different cultures, dealing with different struggles, so it's really interesting to get to see them connect with that culture in that way and the language in that way.
And that's all for this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom.
This is your classroom. Hands-on learning like you've never seen.
A Saskatchewan woman is working to help farmers and people involved in agriculture with their mental health. As Stacey Comer shows us, Leslie Kelly has created a platform with several different resources to assist those who may not know where to turn.
I have a special guest joining me today on Primetime Local News. Leslie Kelly is here. Leslie is known for high heels and canola fields, which we will get into amongst other things. Leslie, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Well, you have this platform that you use, as I said, for a number of different things, including you've got a podcast, there's merch, there's also the Do More Ag Foundation. But let's start by talking about high heels and canola fields. Tell me about the whole premise behind just that.
Yeah, high heels and canola fields started. I had the idea about 8 or 9 years ago, and was my during a time when my family and I had a snack food company. So we were using barley grown on the farm and building. It was almost like a salt and sweet snack, and we were selling it out at trade shows and going into urban markets. And people were asking questions about, farming, and they had never met a farmer before. So at that time, I didn't really know that advocating for agriculture or advocating was a thing. So I thought, hey, if I could create a platform where people can go and ask questions, I'd be more than happy to be a person that can be that connector. And if I don't know, then I might know someone else in farming that can help answer those questions. So yeah, it started with the notion of just bringing people together and having conversations around food and farming.
And you are based in Saskatchewan, so obviously that's a location where farming is is the heart for a lot of families. And one of the things that goes along with farming is the mental health part of it. There's a lot of stress because it's not something where you can guarantee, okay, I'm going to seed at this time and then I'm going to have the results at this time. There's just so many factors and so many different things that go into this. So why was it important for you to do? Well, let's get into the Do More Ag Foundation, which deals with helping farming people and mental health.
So along the lines of, creating a platform, High Heels and Canola Fields, I was hearing lots of stories from other farmers about the challenges they were facing. And in behind the scenes, my family and I were going through some really hard times. My husband lives with anxiety. My brother lives with anxiety. I went through postpartum depression, and we felt that we couldn't talk about it because of the stigma. And also, we didn't know where to go, what resources were available. So, my husband and I shared a live video talking about farm stress and the resources that are available, what he did, what we both did, how we changed the culture in our family and within our farm to talk about mental health. And then after that, we got so many messages from all over the world, farmers. And it was quite an eye opener knowing that a lot of farmers were also in the same boat. So, myself and a few others from Saskatchewan, we co founded the Do More Agriculture Foundation. And with that, we are a national voice to help reduce that stigma, build community, and bring resources to help farmers and the farming community with their mental health.
And with the foundation, Leslie, do you do some speaking too? Are you available to go out and talk to larger groups about this as well?
Yeah, so I go and share my story about mental health, but also we have a fantastic team at Do More. Our executive director and our team members have lots of presentations and workshops that can also share more tools and resources as well.
And now you do have a podcast. It's on a break right now, but people can go back and listen to prior episodes. Tell me about the podcast.
Yeah, myself and a farmer from Illinois, we got together and we created What the Farm. And it was a weekly podcast where we brought on a guest and they shared their story. So it was all about bringing people outside and inside of agriculture, having real life conversations about food and farming.
And now I know that you have everything kind of located on one platform if people are looking for information. If there are people out there, farmers in particular, that are struggling with some mental health issues, what do you suggest as far as going to your platform? What's a good place to start where they could maybe get some information on some of the things that you guys talk about?
Yeah, there's lots of great information and resources available at Do More Ag. There's workshops, events, and also Ag Talk. So that's a 24/7 online platform, peer support that you can go and sign up and talk to those who understand agriculture and understand those struggles. So you can get that at domore.ag.
Do you think that it's still tough for some people, especially maybe the older generation in farming, to talk about some of the struggles that they go through?
Yeah, absolutely. Young, old, male, female. When I share our story, I have so many others that come up and say, "Hey, I've been there," and I know that we've changed. The stigma is reducing as we talk more about it, but we still got a long way to go. But the more that we do share, uh, it's um, it's really humbling to know that so many of us, whether it is farm related or it could be family related, just stress. We go through hard times, and that's part of a human experience, and that's okay. But there are people out there that love you and that will support you through those hard times too.
Now, amongst all this, Leslie, you also have some articles. You do a bit of a blog that has some different things too, and there's merch available. So I don't know how you find time to do this all of the day, but if people are looking for everything in one place, what's the best place to go to find links to everything that we spoke about today?
Yeah, if you want to read some of my articles, listen, watch, everything is available at highheelsandcanolafields.com.
Well, Leslie, it's been a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you so much. And I know you're getting ready for seating there too. So cross fingers. Hopefully that all goes well. And thanks again for chatting with me today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Selling your home can be a contentious issue when going through a separation or divorce. Stacy Comer has more on how to make the process a bit easier.
It's the time of the week when Stephanie Dobson is here. Stephanie is a lawyer, a mediator, and an online educator with Hanka Divorce Law and Mediation offices in Edmonton and Lloydminster. Stephanie, thanks once again for joining us.
Nice to see you as always, Stacy.
Well, today we're going to be talking about selling a house when you're going through divorce and separation. And that can be a really, really tough issue for some couples, especially if the process of divorce and separation is already contentious. So, Stephanie, we're going to get into it with some tips right away here.
Yeah, selling a home is a really significant decision that can have far-reaching implications both emotionally and financially. And so it's really important that as you navigate this process, there's there's certain essential elements that come into play when you're divorcing and trying to sell a home. So I thought we could go through a few tips today.
Okay, so the first one and the biggest one is agreeing on the sale.
Yes, you would think that that was the easy one, but sometimes that is the most difficult. But, open and honest communication between spouses is really crucial. Agreeing on that decision to sell and then the timeline for that sale can really help to streamline the process. And when you get a realtor involved, then it doesn't become a conflict right off the bat.
Okay, and the next one is actually finding that real estate agent and agreeing on which one you want.
Yeah, so you may know some real estate agents or you may not be sure of them, but your lawyer might be able to give you some advice on some real estate agents or some ideas on who to select. But engaging a qualified real estate agent can really provide you some good expert advice on pricing, marketing, negotiating the sale of the home, and even to help you to maximize the sale value.
And the next one is division of proceeds.
Well, this one is a critical aspect, of course, those sale proceeds. It might involve quite a few considerations, actually, most of which may be legal. So it's really important to talk to your lawyer, your family lawyer, not necessarily your real estate lawyer, but your family lawyer before delving into the sale of the home to make sure that when that sale does go through, that you know exactly how that division of proceeds is going to go. Or sometimes the sale proceeds actually stay in trust for a while pending the outcome of your separation or divorce.
Okay, and the next one is actually setting the price of the home, because obviously you need to agree on that one.
Yeah, so a realtor can really help you with that. But if you're not sure about the realtor helping you, you can also get an appraisal on your property to help you to determine that price.
Okay, and tip number 5 is showing the home.
So, of course, sounds easy, but both of you must cooperate in showing the home to prospective buyers. So it's really important that you try to keep the property in as good a condition as possible to enhance its appeal.
And the next one then we are going into is handling offers and just negotiating in general.
Yeah, so my recommendation is when you hire your real estate agent is to make sure that that agent has a 3-way text message or a 3-way email message open to you at all times. And so when you're receiving offers or needing to negotiate, you're able to do that by way of a 3-way conversation. It's really important to collaborate to reach a mutually acceptable resolution.
Okay, and tip number 7 is the finalization of the sale.
Well, that's a good space to get to if you're selling your house, is once an offer is accepted, navigating that closing process involves signing legal documentation, transferring ownership, and then, of course, dispersing those proceeds according to the agreed upon terms. So we hope that you've got the agreed upon terms first, and then we're finalizing the sale is our hope.
And the next one we move into is future housing plans. So once that house is sold, what happens then?
Yeah, so both of you should really be considering those future housing plans post-sale, but also pre-sale, because sometimes the house sale can get finalized quite quickly, and this also goes along with the division of the sale proceeds. Is if you need some of those sale proceeds in order to be able to buy your next house, you might want to have those future housing plans set before even you've sold the house.
And the last one we're going to get into is communicating with kids when this goes on with your children, making sure they're in the loop.
Yeah, so it's so important that your kids know about this sale. Of course, there's going to be a for sale sign on the front door step, but it's really can be really hard and emotionally challenging for the kids to go through the sale of their family home, their childhood home. And so really keeping that communication open with them to help them to adjust to those changes and to understand the transition that the kids are going to be going through is really helpful for them. And of course, the future plans, right? The future housing plans and how that's going to affect the kids going forward.
All right. Well, thanks once again, Stephanie. Great information as always, and we'll be back to chat with you next week.
Sounds good, Stacey.
We'll have more primetime local news after the break. Lloydminster is hosting this year's Esso Cup, which brings hockey teams from across Canada to the border city. I have more with the U18 women's team hosting and competing in the tournament. The Lloydminster PWM Steelers are getting as much practice and preparation in as possible before the Esso Cup's first puck drop this Sunday. Steelers forward Ashlyn Hinton says the team is both nervous and excited for the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
There's definitely nerves. I think just the pressure of being the host team, obviously, and having it in our home barn with everyone is exciting. But I think, yeah, lots of the girls are just pumped to go, and we're definitely ready to hit the ice and start going again. So I think we're all excited in the room.
Along with the nerves being felt in the locker room, defenseman Kennedy McQuaid says the team is excited to head into the tournament as a host team with the whole community behind them.
Our community's behind us, they've been behind us, so it's going to be really exciting to have family, friends, everybody be able to come, not just watch on TV.
With many of the teams competing in the Esso Cup just finishing their playoff runs and the Steelers not having played since the end of March, assistant coach Sydney Krusch hopes the team can use the rest they've had to their advantage.
Well, we have been going for lots of runs, lots of stretching. I know mobility is something we've been preaching because a lot of these teams are going to be coming out of their regional camp or regional playoffs, and they'll be beaten up, so we're trying to take advantage of being fresh and not really having any injuries right now.
The Steelers' last practice before the tournament begins will be this Friday. The team hopes their hard work, along with the support from the hometown crowd, will lead them to an Esso Cup. Lane Hoffert, Primetime Local News. Now let's take a look at your pets of the day.
Send photos of your pet and their name to have them featured on Pet of the Day.
Welcome back. Let's take a second look at your weather. Right now in Lloydminster, it's +5 with that wind blowing quite strong at 39 kilometers an hour, and it is a cloudy day, so definitely not the nicest day that we've seen so far this week. Feels like -1, so it does feel quite a bit chillier than some of the days that we have had earlier. But it's kind of like that everywhere, so I guess we didn't really get the short end of the stick. In Cold Lake, it's +5. Athabasca, Edmonton, Red Deer, Edson, and Jasper all at +6. Whitecourt 9 and Rocky Mountain House at 7. Over in Saskatchewan, much of the same. In Meadow Lake at +5. Prince Albert 7, North Battleford 6, Saskatoon 8, and Melfort 9. Up north, a little bit cooler in Uranium City at -1. Stony Rapids 0, Wollaston Lake 4, La Loche and Buffalo Narrows 2, and Flin Flon at 10. Now over in northern Alberta, it's 0 in Fort Chipewyan, High Level +9, Fort McMurray +3, Slave Lake +6, Peace River 10, and Grand Prairie at 11. So a little bit warmer in northern Alberta than it is in northern Saskatchewan, but still very similar looking, sky-wise and wind-wise and all of that. Now taking a look at southern Alberta, in Coronation and Calgary, as well as Lethbridge, it is +5. Banff is +3, and Medicine Hat +8. Now over in Kindersley, it's +7. Swift Current 8, Yorkton and Regina 12, Moose Jaw 11, and Estevan 14. So once again, a little bit nicer in that southern corner of Saskatchewan, but everywhere else, much of the same that we do have here in Lloydminster. Now taking a look at tonight in North Battleford, it's going to be -2, a partly to mostly cloudy night with those snowflakes, and they'll be blowing around a little bit, especially with that wind. The wind is nicer in North Battleford than it is here in Lloyd. They'll only be getting 15 kilometers an hour compared to the almost 40 that we're experiencing right now. Fortunately, though, for us, that wind is going to die down, and it's not going to be as big of a problem tomorrow, though it will still be quite strong. Now tonight in Cold Lake, it'll be -3, and once again, very similar with some snow flurries, but this time in Cold Lake, the snow is going to stick around just a little bit. It'll be about a centimeter layer over top of everything, but other than that, very similar night to North Battleford. That wind is the same at 15 kilometers an hour, and those temperatures are hovering around the same point. Now tonight in Lloydminster, it's going to get down to -4. Once again, very similar. We could see a flurry, maybe 2, but that wind is going to die down. It's only going to be 20 compared to the very strong winds that we have had today. So things are looking up a little bit. Now taking a look at some overnight temperatures in Meadow Lake, it's going to be -2, as well as in Bonnyville and Isle La Crosse. Then Provost will be -4, overcast and cold, and then Paradise Hill -3. There will be some flurries in Meadow Lake, Isle La Crosse, and Paradise Hill, but some clearer skies elsewhere. In Murnum tonight, it'll be -3, as well as in Unity, Pierceland -2, Wainwright -4, and Calgary -1. Now taking a look at our 7-day forecast, you can see things are starting to look up after tomorrow. Cold with a few clouds and a high of +3. Then Friday, mostly sunny and mild there with a high of +12. And then Saturday, we got a morning shower or 2, only a 49% chance of that, with that high at 13. Then it looks like next week is going to look very similar to this week. But those are our temperatures for the 7-day forecast and the Easter weekend. That's all the time we have today for Primetime Local News. I'm Lane Hoffert, and thanks for joining me.